Welcome back to the YouTube channel, everybody. Well, our engine got here. Well, before we get into the video, I'd like you to hit the like, share, and subscribe button if you haven't yet already. Don't forget to check out our website, www.rngperformance.net. You can find all of your CFMOTO needs over there. We're constantly adding new things all the time, especially the clutch kits, lift kits, wheel spacers, lights, all kinds of good stuff over there. Scanners, check your check engine lights, all that stuff. And well, let's get into the engine. So it actually made it here in a few pieces. I have pictures of this thing boxed up. It was not broken. UPS reboxed it. It wasn't the people who tried to steal it who reboxed it. It was UPS who reboxed it. And I have a ton of brand new parts and stuff. They're over there. I just didn't want them scattered here. Maybe we'll go over those later in another video. But UPS was nice enough to pick up all the broken pieces and put it in a little tiny UPS box and seal it up for us to super glue back on, I guess. Who cares? It's here. It was basically free, and thanks to our subscriber, Jason Perry. We appreciate you again for doing this. Jason Perry is actually going above and beyond again to do something cool for us, so stay tuned for that video. It's probably gonna be a few weeks. So without further ado, let's start ripping into this thing. I don't know if we're gonna get it all down in one video because I wanna go over it slow and talk about what different things are. The whole point in tearing down this motor, I know there's some things missing, but you know, not real key components that we're worried about. But he had to swap most of this stuff over to a new engine. So I wanna go over and kind of let you guys know and educate you what is what in these motors, those of you who don't know. And those of you who do know, I know you're just here just to kind of chill out and see. And I thank you. Leave me a comment down below. If you know what any of this stuff is when we get into it, leave me a comment down below. And don't wait for me to tell you. So, to take off these valve covers, that's where we're going to start. We're going to need an 8mm socket. And to save us some time, we're going to have the trusty old Craftsman Ugga Dugger gun. I can't find my Milwaukee. It's smaller. I'd much rather have that because it's lighter. But go ahead and dig into these. Oh, we'll come back. It's just stuck on there with oil probably. All right. There we go. Probably be able to save these gaskets because this engine was rebuilt once, and let's just say Jason likes to play a lot, and didn't last long. So it's got a bunch of new components in here already. So let's go over some things. We'll set that aside. Now what we're looking at here is the cam. This is a cam gear timing chain. Same thing as over here on this side. So our goal is to try to get these heads off of here. Now, there is supposed to be two of these. One of these here and one of these over here. And there'd be two bleeders. This is where you would bleed the coolant out on your engine whenever you do a coolant flush. These right here, okay? But we shouldn't have to take that stuff off. So without further ado, let's start removing the cam and the head and all that jazz. So we're gonna first need to take off the chain tensioner. Now we'll replace these so we don't really care about how they come off. We just need them off of there. There we go. I'm going to put all these bolts back, you know, in their respective locations. That way we don't lose them because there's already enough nuts and bolts that we do have to worry about. There we go. That one. Oh, there we go. Come on to Papa. There we go. Go ahead, because we'll have to put new ones on if we do rebuild this. I'm hoping we get in there and it's real easy and doesn't need a whole heck of a lot. Just put those where we know they're at. Now that's going to loosen these timing chains Well, yeah, it's going to loosen the timing chains. Now we have to pull the cam gears off of there. We're not worried about timing it or anything like that. We'll do that when it goes back together. So I'm going to go ahead and do this one, and then I'll come around and do this one for you guys. All right, so all we got to do is loosen this bolt here. We might have to get the ratchet out. Now, like I said, this motor is locked up. Ah, there we go. It is locked up. Oh, these just wiggle off of here. It'll come right off. There we go. There we go. I want to put that cam gear back on there. And maybe later we'll pull those cams out, but not right now. So now what we're going to do is remove these heads, which is very easy. Listen, if you ever have to work on these engines in your buggy, maybe rebuild the top end, it is so easy to do so. Very easy. You can have these heads pulled off of here in no time. Well, CFMOTO, your casting kind of sucks. So let's go ahead and pull. Well, there's going to be two 8mm bolts right there. We're going to pull those on both heads. That way we switch tools less. All right. Now these are long, very long. There we go. Put everything right in those valve covers. Now we just got to pull these bolts. Let's go ahead and somebody boogered up the end of that bolt. Not a big deal. All right, ladies and gents, let's go ahead and get these bolts out. I believe these bolts are all the same length from the 600 that I did, because they're basically same heads and such. Minor differences, minor differences. That's all. Make sure. There we go. Cool, now guess what? We can pop these heads off. Now, these head gaskets, wow, they're new. Super new, buddy. Can't reuse them though. I mean, probably could. I don't know, we'll see. This motor wasn't ran very long. So, but here's the thing. I wanted to talk about head gaskets, because people think that just because these engines are Chinese, it means that they're not built well and blah, blah, blah. CFMOTO uses some of the best head gaskets I've ever seen on small engine. I've seen some pretty crappy head gaskets on small engines, and these ones are triple layer steel, which is what we use in the automotive world. They're not your cheap crap gaskets. They're very good gaskets. And if I were to guess, these gaskets could hold 7 psi of boost. Just throwing that out there. And those are in good shape. So if I don't reuse them here, I might save them just to have them, because they should be, they're pretty much the same as a lot of other machines. So, and man, I tell you, ooh, them cylinder walls. I'm hoping that we can bore these out. Looks like there might be enough room to bore these. That would be nice. So without further ado, let's get the rubber mallet out and see if we can start bringing that puppy up. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, baby. Oh, I see the problem. I see what happened to this motor, what he was talking about. Right there. Right here, the gasket. That's where it failed. That's your failing point. He said it had antifreeze in the jug, and he thinks it took out the crank. We're gonna find out. This crank is seized up. These aren't, the crank is. But I'm gonna guess that's probably what happened right there. So look at that. I don't know what's been sitting in there, but it needs honed. It's not bad or anything, it just needs honed. I'll set that there, see if I can bring this up. That up. I don't care about those timing chains. Ooh, baby, we could bore those out. There's plenty of room. We could bore those. Dang on Skippy. Dang on Skippy. Woo woo. Oh yeah, that one's free. That one's a little sticky. It should fall flat. It's not. Whereas this one, it is. It's falling. So, yeah, he might be right. Oh, hey, look, it's loose. Something's. Oh, that might be timing chain. Let's pull this chain up. It's not locked up no more, but that's not good. Oh no. I know what happened. I know what happened. When he put new rod bearings in, he didn't tighten it. I can see the bolt loose on the rod. Yep. Man. He did say he rebuilt this in a hurry. He did say that. That's what happened. So we get it apart. We can inspect those if there's no damage, which I suspect that there is. But if there's no damage, this thing be ready to go. Start rebuilding it. Might just get by with new rod bearings. We're gonna find out. Let's get to taking all this crap off. Trying to think of what way I want to get started. Let's pull this cover off. I'm gonna come over here. Tell you what, they want to make sure that that sucker's not coming off of there. So there we go. Those are all intact there. Check that out. We can get that timing chain off of there. That's another good gasket, but when you go this deep, I don't know. We'll figure it out. That's a good gasket though. Little silicone around that, and you could full sender. Let's see if we can. There we go. Release that clip. I'll put that back on there. That way we don't lose it. It's on there backwards, but I'm just gonna pull the chain off over here, just like we did over there. But I have to pull some of these plastic gears out of my way. All right, I got the right ends installed now. Now we can pull these little clips off of here. Don't lose these. Do not lose these little clips. Okay, now we can get this one off. We're gonna go ahead and put all these in there. Now we can get this chain out of there. There we go, our timing chain. Now we can take our, I don't want to lose this thing, so it's gonna go right back on there. There we go. We're gonna have to take it apart. Let's get to pulling off all these little bolts. And there's a lot of them. Now we're getting into the bigger bolts. Pull these apart. I might have to break those loose by hand, fellas. What it's looking like. Let's go ahead and do that. There we go. Ooh, I forgot a little guy. Just a little guy. Oh, another little guy. They're hiding. There we go. I think I got them all now. There we go. She's splitting. She is splitting. Oh yeah. So it looks like it wants to split from that side, but I don't want gears and stuff to fall out. So, yep. Looks like, okay. Let's go ahead and see if we can. Let's get some paper towel down. So she's coming. Come on, baby. Sweet. Let's go ahead and set this thing out of the way. Yeah, we'll be replacing this gasket too, or this far. See how easy it is to get these engines apart, guys? And right there, he tightened this one. Right there's the crank. Right there it is. Yep. So when he rebuilt it, he forgot to tighten that. Well, those bearings there. Okay, that is one thing I wanted to talk to you guys about. CFMOTO uses these, they're bearings, but they're called bushings. And really they're the same thing as rod bearings. They're basically the same thing. So that is what CFMOTO uses as a bearing in their engine. And this is the bearing that I worry about when you guys want a turbo. We would have to probably get some better bushings, bearings, to put in here. These ones are tore up bad, like really bad. You couldn't reuse those. You'd have to replace those. So we'll have to look into replacing those and check all these if we got to replace these. These all look fine. They feel fine. But these here, this is what I worry about and why I say these engines can't hold a turbo. These. That's what I've been trying to tell everybody. Now I can show everybody. So ladies and gentlemen, we now know what happened to this engine. And it was basically, you know, this is loose here. So we're going to inspect this, see if there's anything else we need to figure out. If we got to replace, I want to look at these gears real nice. This whole engine should be flushed out. It's got a lot of gunk down inside of it. Not a big deal. We can flush it out or whatever. And yeah, so this is the transmission, which is separate from the engine. And all it is this wall right here separating it. But yeah, here's your transmission. This is what your secondary clutch rides on. This is what your primary clutch rides on. So remember guys, if you guys screw up these threads in there, you got to replace the crank. Which, I'll be honest with you, CFMOTO uses some beefed up parts. These cranks are very, very nice cranks. It's built really well, actually. And you know, you could probably lighten this up if you wanted to. We'll look into doing some performance stuff. So guys, digging into these motors is really, really easy. Just a lot of bolts and nuts, but they're so simple. And the transmission, you've seen it, it stays in place there, and you really don't have an issue of it, you know, and it just stays in place. No real issue or anything, and super easy to build. The parts are cheap, you know, if you wanted to DIY it, it's real easy. Very easy to work on. These are not complicated at all. And if you have an engine issue, listen, worst case scenario, you have to take it to a tech with a book to put it back together. It's not a big deal. You get a book. I didn't even take this apart with a book, but should get a book. But guys, you can try yourself. They're super easy, super simple, not real hard at all. Honestly, it's not. But I want to thank you guys for watching, and hopefully we'll have a few more videos on this. Maybe we'll pull the transmission apart and go over it so we can clean everything and all that stuff. So, all right, guys, peace out and God bless. Make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next one.